One moment you're bold and unstoppable, and the next you're guarded and scanning for danger. If you ever thought that, I don't feel safe right now, this video is for you. And here's why. When an Enneagram 8 is under stress, they move towards the unhealthy side of a Type 5. In this video, I'm going to show you the 5 main stress responses you'll want to look for. That means pulling back, overanalyzing, and retreating into your head instead of leading with your heart and strength. Stress response number 1 is you withdraw. You become secretive and isolated, and you observe from afar. And so how this is going to feel and look like is that typically Enneagram 8s, they have this intense energy. And what happens is it's like this forest fire that's always there, burning, ready to go, except now it's starting to dim and that energy is starting to go away. And so they start pulling back from people. And this isn't to get more rest or to get my energy back. This is strictly to protect themselves. And so what they do, even going to groups of people that even if they trust, they're going to be very careful and always be wondering who's in this room that could potentially hurt me, especially if they go into environments that they know that there's people that they don't trust. They're going to be even more vigilant against those people. And the lie that they're going to tell themselves is, I'm just being cautious. You think disappearing keeps you safe, but isolation doesn't heal your wounds. It deepens them. Healing comes from when you risk being seen. Vulnerability isn't losing control, it's stepping into real connection, where God can meet you in honesty and not always putting up a guard against God. And so the Bible verse I have for this is Psalms 34, verse 18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and save those who are crushed in spirit. Even as David was retreating, God still drew near to him. He wasn't waiting for David to pull himself together to make sure that the environment was good, to have this relationship with God. No, God meets you in those places. Especially when you don't feel protected. You need to realize that God's going to be the one to protect you. And so for you, a Type 8, when you start to pull back in fear, this verse should remind you God is already sitting beside you and that you don't have to protect yourself. Stress response number 2 is you become detached from emotions and gain more knowledge to be on the offensive. So instead of admitting that you're actually scared or worried, you switch strategies here. And this is where you're going to start to isolate yourself. You're going to start doing more research. You're going to make more plans. And so this is because someone has hurt you or a group of people have hurt you in some way that you feel threatened. And so what you do is you retreat. You're going to go do your research and you're going to make sure that never happens again. And you're going to make sure when you meet those people again, you already have a game plan to go on the offensive to make sure this doesn't happen again. Or what you're going to do is you're going to completely remove yourself from certain environments or people just to have this false sense of protection. And so during this time, knowledge is going to feel safe and knowledge is going to give you this false sense of I'm protecting myself. But really what you're doing is you're avoiding those feelings of not feeling safe. Especially feeling that vulnerability, that is something you like to avoid anyways. And so here you are doing everything you can to avoid those hurtful feelings and acknowledge them because that's not what you really want to do. God's designed you with both a strong mind and a strong heart. Stress attempts you to lean on your head alone, but survival isn't wisdom. Wisdom is letting God into your emotions. You don't have to outthink the pain. You have to walk through it with Him. The Bible verse I have is Proverbs 3, verses 5. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Solomon is going to here call us not to double down on intellection, but to lean on the full weight of our trust on God. For type 8, this is a gentle command. You don't have to figure it out. God already has. For the type 8s, the mistake is when they lean on their way of doing things, of trying to protect themselves, they will push away people that actually care about them because I got to protect myself at all costs, and they push away everything because they need to minimize everything. They need to push away everything so that they can feel safe, and they'll even push away God in these moments so that they can feel safe. But because they do that, it just creates a cycle where they can never truly feel safe because they push the people away that they love away unintentionally, and also push away God. The people and God are the things that are truly going to protect you here. And so one thing you need to remember is that your way of trying to protect yourself isn't always best. God has a better way for you if you just allow him to protect you. Does this sound like you? Do you ever notice that you're treating in your head when life feels a little shaky? If that is you, drop a comment. I would love to hear how stress shows up for you as a type 8. Stress response number 3. You become more cerebral and less physically assertive and action-oriented. So for type 8s, they're in the gut triad, so they make gut reactions. So whenever they have a thought in their head, they're going to say it. And if they have an action towards something, they're going to go do it. Even before a thought ever comes to their mind, they're going to go do it. However, now when they're in stress, they stop doing that. And to an outsider, they're going to look very like, oh, this person's in control. They're very calm. But that's not what's going on. Inside, they're frozen. They can't move, and they're constantly second-guessing themselves, going, if I do this, what will happen? If I do this, what will happen? If I say this, if I say the wrong thing, someone's going to come at me. And so they're very worried about what they're going to think, what they're going to say, and what they're going to do now. And they lie to themselves because like, oh, I'm just being really wise. I'm being very tactful with how I'm doing things. But it's not. It's really fear disguised as a way to control their environment as best as they can to keep themselves safe. And the Bible verse I have for this is Isaiah 30, verses 15. It says, in repentance and rest is your salvation. In quietness and trust is your strength. See, Israel caught themselves in a position in this part because Israel has been making bad deals with people and constantly not putting their trust in God, but putting trust in their ability to try to craft a military, to trust even Egypt, who they left. And the whole time they wouldn't trust God. And so God's trying to get your attention here and say, your strength, your true strength is going to come from trusting me and not anything that you can do, especially when it comes to planning. And for you, the type 8, slowing down isn't losing anything, isn't losing your edge, isn't losing your protection. It's letting God carry what you can't. Stress response number 4. You become distrusted in people, and you become very cynical and harsh. Your conversations with people are going to look like landmines. Constantly always worried, if I say this, will I explode? And also, too, on the outside, people are going to start noticing, if I say this, our landmine's going to go off. It's going to be that constant worry. Otherwise, they step on a landmine. And that's what it's going to be like to have a conversation with the type 8s when they're stressing. Even your trusted friends and close family are going to look suspicious to you, and they're going to feel it. And that's going to be that unintentional, I have to protect myself. And even when people mean well, they can come off as they're attacking me, I have to protect myself, and push away, and you might come off as harsh to them. And that's where emotionally you're going to keep putting this armor on to protect yourself because you do not want to be betrayed, and you will make sure at all costs that doesn't happen. But at the same time, you end up pushing those people away that you actually trust and care for. And don't be surprised, you're going to do this with God, because God's going to be telling things that may not feel safe. And so you even push God away because you lie to yourself and say, I'm the only one that can protect me. And so what do you tell yourself? Suspicion feels smart in a way. But what it does, it puts you in your own prison. Healthy discernment is spirit-led and rooted in love. Cynicism is fear-led and rooted in old wounds. Think of it kind of like soldiers with PTSD. You're constantly worried that someone's going to attack you. However, God calls you to guard your heart, but not to wall it off completely. The Bible verse I have for this is Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. It says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Guarding your heart isn't about building up walls. It's about protecting it from bitterness so love can still flow. And so for the type 8, this verse reframes your strength, not suspicion, but spirit-led discernment. Guarding your heart is way different than pushing away. Because when you fully understand that God's not going to betray you, you're able to actually start to take off that armor and realize even if people are attacking you, it's okay because God's not going to betray you. There's a difference between protecting your heart and pushing everyone away. Stress response number 5. It says, use your intellect to belittle others. And what this is going to look like, your sharp words are going to be the thing that is your armor. Usually you are very quick to say something. However, now it's a little bit different because now you're going to be putting people down instead of just being honest. And usually type 8s might have a difficulty being here trying to figure that out because sometimes their harshness can come off as it was too harsh or too honest. But now you have to recognize I'm not just being honest. I am strategically saying this to put people down, to make sure that I'm the one in control, you can't hurt me type of mentality. And so you're going to control the conversations. Instead of allowing people to enter in the conversation, I'm going to control this conversation. I'm going to make sure everyone around me knows I'm in control. And the tricky part, because you're not always going to be cruelty with your words, but what you're trying to do is keep any distance to make sure that you don't get hurt. And so you have to be aware of yourself with how you are using your words. Because true strength isn't about winning arguments. It's about using your voice to build up people and not cutting them down. Grace doesn't weaken your edge, it sharpens your witnessing abilities. So the Bible verse I have for this is the Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29. It says, don't let any wholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up. Paul doesn't just say, be nice. He calls us to use our words as a tool for building people up and not weapons for defense, to protect ourselves. But our goal is always as Christians is that we are supposed to be using our words to building up people and not to belittling them or putting them down. And for type 8s, this is where they need to change what's going on inside their mind, because too many times you can come off as too honest, and especially when you're stressed out, now it's weaponized. And one of the things to remind yourself is, am I being graceful with this person? Am I giving someone life, or am I tearing someone down? So if this is connecting with you, I would love it if you'd pause right now and grab my free guide for you. It's called How Understanding Your Core 4 Motivations Help You Fulfill Your Purpose. Just click the link in the description below. Download it right now and take the first step towards living out your God-given purpose. So overall, what does it feel like to be here? You're not resting. You're hiding out and building a fortress for yourself. You stop trusting people, and now you're suspecting everyone. Everyone potentially could be kind of like a wanted poster of these are the people that are trying to hurt me, and I'm adding to that wanted list. You're not connecting to people, especially not connecting to God here. You're looking for control. I got to control people. I got to control environments. I got to control to protect myself. And you're telling yourself, I'm just being wise. But inside, you're just getting tired. You're getting lonely and longing to feel safe. So spiritually, for my type 8s, your strength is a gift, but it was never meant to protect you from God. When you armor yourself up, remember Jesus laid his armor down to draw near to you. He is the only protector who doesn't betray. And we know this because when Jesus was about to go to the cross, he was betrayed by one of his disciples. Even though he was betrayed, he didn't betray you, and he went to the cross for you. And this is where you know you can rest in his strength when yours runs out. And you're able to lay down your weapons, your walls, and you can actually realize that you can bring out your heart again. And so in him, you're able to feel safe again. In him, you're able to be seen by others. And in him, you can fiercely love again. If you're ready to take your next steps, I'd love to walk with you through one-on-one Enneagram coaching. Use the link in the description to book your free discovery call. And don't stop there. The next video, we're going to be talking about the Type 8 growth track. So until the next video, I'll see you then.